for robots in general, but in particular for this new class of robot called collaborative robots or cobots, in which for the first time in the last century, robots are entering in physical contact with humans. Okay, so this poses a lot of new possibility, but also some threats that we should, let's say, trying to overcome. And one of these is the following situation. You can see there are increasingly available videos of different kind of robots. Of course, here I've taken some example for bipedal robotics, both exoskeleton, prostheses, or humanoids, in which these robots seem that they can solve a lot of problems and they are very impressive. But the problem is that we cannot see really numbers that can demonstrate the performance of the system. So in other words, what we really miss are quantitative indicators of performance, also of safety, because we have to prove that these robots, when they are they've entered our everyday life, they can be used, let's say, in a safe way, and they can improve our lives. So this field is called benchmarking, that you can see it as performance evaluation, so a way of just putting some number on the performance of the system. The first reason to do this, as I said, is to assess the system in a quantitative and impartial way. The second part is to compare different solutions. This is an example of some exoskeleton in the market. So this is not only useful for end users, so for customers that want to choose the right solution, but also for engineers, because they would like to, or they would need to identify which are the differences, which are the critical issues that they should improve to make a given product competitive in the market. And another reason that is more, let's say, research oriented is to demonstrate in research project, when we are developing a prototype, that this prototype has a higher TRL and then can move from the idea really to real market application. No? And in order to do this, the European Commission has strongly suggested to use benchmarks to prove the achievement of a certain technology readiness level. So what we have done in the last already 6 years is to try to identify which are the key ingredients of this benchmarking, we call it benchmarking ecosystem. And we found 3 main ingredients. The first one is we need to have what we call it test beds, which are basically the physical replication of a condition of daily life. You can see here an example in the cyclotron competition, which is a very good example of these test beds. Simple, made of wood, but we would like to improve on this and make test beds that are also sensorized, because we think that we need sensor-based measurement to provide the really good indicators of performance. The second ingredient, actually it's not just one, are 3 in 1, which are the identification of the metrics, we call performance indicators basically. Also the algorithms that are able to extract these metrics, this number from the data recorded by the sensors that I was mentioning before. And of course, protocols, because this is a very important part, because when you execute an experiment, you have to, from different systems, you need to have results that are comparable across systems. And this is not an easy task, because systems can be different to each other. They can even have different degrees of freedom. So you have to think about a protocol. The same protocol that can be applied in different conditions and in different laboratories. So here there is a concept you may not know, that which calls reproducibility, which means that you still allow for 2 experiments to be conducted with slightly different conditions, but still the result can be comparable. So this concept of reproducibility for us is very important, because we would like to make this ecosystem spread all over the world. meaning that a laboratory in Japan can follow the same indication that a laboratory in South America and having the same comparable results. Actually, this is, I would say, the core of the methodology. What this is more, say, engineering implementation. And the third pillar of this ecosystem is to have data sets. You know, now we are in let's say in the era of data processing or machine learning, artificial intelligence, in which the availability of data sets is what basically makes the difference. And we know that there is not so much information, not so many data sets on exoskeleton, on humanoids, and on prostheses performance. So we would like to be the hub in which all this data will come together. And on this data, we will apply this machine learning modality in order to provide good suggestion for users, but also good suggestion for the company. Why? What is our final goal? See, our ambition is to allow developers to really demonstrate robotic performance, even in the leaflet. So use this to improve also the marketing on the marketing side. And the second part is to allow users to easily choose the right robotic solution without entering into too complex detail. So provide a clear view, like this exoskeleton can go on stairs, or this humanoid can go up to this speed, and so on. So as you know, because you are here, EUROBENCH is offering funding opportunities. It's a cascade funding project, meaning that we have money that we received by the European Commission that we have to redistribute to other groups that we call third parties. It can be company, laboratory, and research entities, and 2 open calls. The first call that has been already closed almost 1 year ago. The goal of this call was to ask collaboration from these third parties to develop these 3 pillars, because you can imagine how many combination between test beds, metrics, and data set can be, you know? So it should be a collaborative effort. There's no other way to approach this. And the outcome of this first call is to have 2 testing facilities. We are building both right now, one in Italy for humanoids and one in Spain for wearable robots, and also having a benchmarking software. This is also, for me, is very important at the same level of the testing facility, because this benchmarking software will allow anyone in any laboratory to execute this evaluation performance. So no need to go to the facility, you can do it in your own lab. Of course, if you go to the facility, everything is already been set, so everything can be done fast and with high quality. So this is a snapshot of some of the projects. So sorry if someone is listening to us. It's one of the funded projects, but it's not here. Just for a matter of showing with good quality. We funded 17 projects, and you can see here 12 of them. You can see here, for example, in this small box, which is the scenario that this specific sub-project covered. So walking on slope, walking on treadmill with virtual terrains, developing a pushing device, developing a system for implementing narrow spaces, stairs with different different size of the steps, so continuously changeable, moving surface to test equilibrium, an instrumented chair to measure sit to stand in different conditions, instrumented crutches, another moving surface specifically for humanoids, another pushes to servo specific for humanoids, a system that measures the neuromuscular activity, also a system that can evaluate the user experience of the user using an exoskeleton, and so on. These are some of the aspects that we are measuring. Maybe this is a bit more focused on wearable robots because, say, it's maybe my bias towards this kind of bipedal robots. But let's say this also applies to humanoids, humanoid robotics. Maybe not user acceptance parts. And this is a snapshot of the CADs of the two testing facilities that we are developing. You can see here the one on wearable robots, and here the facility of humanoids. As I said, around September, October, this facility will be ready to host people to do tests. And this is the concept of the benchmarking software, which is already in a beta version. So the concept of the software is that a user first entering the software and choose the protocol that can evaluate a certain aspect of performance. You know? For example, you want to measure the stability of your humanoid. No? So there will be several protocols that can test this. So you download the protocols and then you perform the experiment. You can do it in your own lab, or you can do it in one of the two testing facilities. Then after you record the data, you upload this data. This data will go in the repository, and automatically from this data, there is the calculation of these performance indicators, okay? So everything will be stored in this repository, can be also consulted to make comparison between, for example, your scores and the mean scores obtained by the state of the art. Or according to the people that provided the permission to look at the data of specific system, you can even compare with one of these systems, no? And this is a snapshot of what we have so far. We have, okay, this is a web application, so will be accessible directly from the web, so no need to install any kind of software in your computer. So this is the first call, no? But say you are not here for the first call, you are here for the second one. So the second call is to offer what we will have as outcome of the first, so the testing facility and the software, to external entities during a phase that we call validation phase of EUROBENCH. This will last 10 months, and this is addressed to anyone, companies, laboratories, that want to be beta tester of our tools. And there are 3 options to participate. Each of these has a different amount of budget to be allocated. The option 1 is to go to the facility to assess your own robot, but also your control algorithm, because in the facility we will have also standard platform. We will have RIMC in the facility of humanoid, and an exoskeleton from Technide, H3 from Technide in the wearable robots facility. This means that if you don't have your own bipedal robot, you can still participate. We will give you first the means to implement your control algorithm into a simulated version of the system, and then you go to the facility to run the tests. You can ask a maximum 60 kilo per project, okay, in this modality, and the costs will cover the personal travel and accommodation for up to 2 weeks in testing in the facility. And also a small amount of consumables if you want to make some tests in your own lab, for example. You need to do, let's say, small amount. Option 2 is to perform the test in your own lab. So in this case, you will not go to the facility, but you use only the EUROBENCH software in your own lab. In this case, we offer half of the money respect to the first option, and the cost will cover personal to do the experiments, consumable also to build the replication of the test bed. Of course, not exact replication because it will cost too much. But let's say if you want to, for example, to implement a slope or a stair, you can do it by wooden structure, and say you can assign, let's say, €5 to this or even less. And then there is option 3, which is, as I said to you, we are interested in gather or data sets that are out there, even data sets that are already available in your own labs by previous experiments. This could be not only tests done on robots, but also on humans, because humans are very important as a point of reference for both humanoids and for both exoskeleton walking. Also, we are open for you if you have, like, for example, a new formula to calculate a performance indicator that is not included in our EUROBENCH software. We can, if you want to propose some new benchmark in this respect, we are also open to do this. So we want to improve. Let's say EUROBENCH will be community-based benchmarking ecosystem. So this is a way to encourage people that want to collaborate with us with a small amount of money. But let's say for a 10-month period, this is more than enough to, we think, to encourage people to work on this. What we will offer, apart from the money, we offer, of course, our software that can go into that data and extract information from your data that you may have no time to process. Here is personnel, and also maybe travels if you need to. No, maybe this not this. I should have deleted. Of these, all these options are, as you know, focused on the bipedal robotics, but we will probably fund 1 or 2 projects on other robotic fields, because we strongly believe that the conditions that we are implemented will be also useful to other kind of overground robots. For example, for emergency rescue or ecological say conditions like inspections. Also for other legged robots like quadrupedal hexapods, or also for wheeled robots. So if you are in this field, you can still have room for be funded. The submission, there is an error. I didn't change this. Due to this COVID situation, we postpone everything 3 months. Okay, so here is a submission starting from September until November or December. We have to decide still, and then the start will be March or April of 2021. And the duration will be 9-10 months. Probably also our project will have small extension, but let's say, you know, this is a situation in which still don't have a clear view on how this will evolve. Maximum fund is €100 per participant across all projects and all calls. So if you have been already funded in the first call, you'll be less money. An important point here I would like to highlight that differently from the first call, this call will be managed according to the first come first serve basis. What does it mean? That there will be no ranking list. The first project we receive, we evaluate, and if passes the thresholds, is directly funded. So there will be no direct comparison with other projects. Okay. That's why it's important that you pre-register, because if you pre-register, you will be having this. We reserve this, the order in the order of pre-registration. You have your priority. I will explain this better afterwards. So the pre-registration. We wanted to do this pre-registration because we want to prepare in advance for you and offer the best service that we can offer. So this pre-registration includes a survey in which you would like to explore, say, how many people are interested in one thing on the other, or which service they would like to have. So once we know this panorama, we can prepare, and before next year we can have everything specifically ready for those scenarios and those services that are raised more interest. Okay, and we want to encourage you to pre-register, offering some advantages, no, for people that pre-register. What kind of advantage? Well, we basically two. The first is to give you feedback. We will give you feedback after pre-registration is closed. We will give you an immediate feedback on your questions that you may have done during this pre-registration, but also you will have 1 or 2 meetings during the proposal preparation to help you to shape your proposal. So, and also this will increase your chances to be funded. Okay, this will not be considered to people that not pre-register. So people are not pre-registered, we can, of course, answering specific questions by email, but not organizing any meeting, not evaluating the proposal before the call. And the other part is the priority in the evaluation. So basically, now we already have some pre-register, so we go in order. So the first pre-register will be the first to be evaluated, given that you submit the proposal within the first 15 days from the opening of the call. So if you are the first in pre-register now, but then you submit the proposal in November, you already have lost your right. But if you submit from the 1st of September until the 15th of September, your proposal will be the first to be evaluated, if you are the first of being pre-registered. Okay, in the process of pre-registration, we are going to ask some questions. You may already have looked at this. Some of you, I know that have registered, but I will summarize here which are these questions. Let's say we are asking the name and type of your entity, if you're willing to participate alone in the consortium. By the way, this pre-registration does not mean that what you write here should be exactly what you propose in your proposal, okay? And if you pre-register, you are not, let's say, forced to submit the proposal. So this pre-registration is, look at this as a kind of survey. It's not anonymous, of course, because we need to check then the correspondence, but let's say there is no other, it's not imply you to do anything. No? Another question is what you want to test. If you want to test a walking robot, you have to specify full humanoid, a bipedal machine, a quadrupedal robot, exoskeleton, or other. If you are going to want to test an exoskeleton or exosuit, would like to have which part of the body is covering this device, if active or not, or depending on the joint. There are some joints are active or not. Rigid to soft structure. If there are restrictions in use of morphology, for example, you're doing, for example, for children or whatever. Then prostheses. The same, similar, which is what kind of prosthesis it is, what kind of the body is substituting, and is active or not. And then for any of the things you want to test, if you are going to bring your own device, you would like to have some additional information on this device, if unilateral, bilateral, which are the actuated joints, with the weight of the system, if there are publication on your system, which is the TRL level of the system. We are also opening this call to people that want only to test human subjects without technology. Okay. Also here there will be, let's say, a limited amount of this kind of projects. But since we are also interested in having this reference or human data in healthy or even in pathologic subjects, you can also apply. You can also subscribe, pre-register, and tell us exactly what you have in mind. as I said before, you may not have an exoskeleton or a robot, but you are working on algorithms for this. In that case, you can use our standard platform. Okay, and this option is also included in this pre-registration survey, so you have to specify this. Of course, you have to select what kind of participation you are envisioning. If you are very clear that you want to participate in 2 different options, please do this 2 times. But in any case, you can select multiple options. If maybe you are not sure, you can select option 1 and option 2, for example. Then there is a part at the end of the survey in which you can explain a bit more with your words what you want to do. Okay, so there you can provide a description. It's optional, but it's good to have for us to exactly know what you want to do. And then we have another part in which we would like to know which are your preferences and expectation about the scenario you would like to be tested, like for example, slopes, stairs, etc., etc. Which domains of application is your system addressing? This is industrial, healthcare, consumer, emergency. Also, what aspect of performance you would like to test? Obtaining information on speed, symmetry, efficiency, stability, human likeness, robustness, ergonomics, whatever. And also what other kinds of services you expect from EUROBENCH. This is, let's say, also to stimulate your creativity, because we have put there a lot of possibilities. So you like to know which of these would be, maybe you haven't even thought about this, but maybe something that could be useful to you. So we like to explore also your possible future needs. Okay, so more in details. So this is something that is not written anywhere else. So it's good to stay here for you to listen to this. So in option 1, the main focus is to using the EUROBENCH tools, but we are aware that you may need a specific other device to measure some aspect, and this sensor is not included neither in the test beds or in the motion tracking system that we have. So in that case, you can bring your additional hardware to perform the tests there. But let's say this is completely on your side. So you have to bring say you need an electrogoniometer, so you have to bring them because we don't have. You know? And also the cost for the development of this additional measurement system is not eligible. Okay. The same applies for benchmarking algorithms. No? You may say, okay, I would like to test the efficiency that we have performance indicator, but also I would like to test say the pressure distribution under the foot. No, and we don't have this. No. So apart from bringing the sensor, you should also develop an algorithm to extract this information. And you may want to include this algorithm in the EUROBENCH software. You can do, but this is not eligible for funding. Okay, it's something that you need to add, but we are not paying for this. No? We are paying for using and for validating what we have already developed. Okay. This for option 1, that is go to the facility. In option 2, we are giving some money to replicate the test beds, or even you may already have. So this test bed could be a simplified version of the test bed included in the facility. Okay. So you can use wooden structure or using even rough terrain that are in outdoor environment. But it's important that you give us exactly the dimension of this, not now in the pre-registration, but say afterwards. So the main message here that we will be flexible. Okay, actually we don't know exactly all the possible needs for people to use a testing facility or the benchmarking software. So this phase of the project is actually to explore this. So we are flexible because we would like to adapt to services that may be important for people in the future. But please clearly motivate this in the proposal. As I said, these are the robotic technologies that are allowed. Just to specify a bit better, which are things that are included or excluded. Okay, in lower limb exoskeleton, there is we include powered and unpowered solution. Can include also trunk, hip, or lower back support exoskeleton. But let's say the focus is not to test manipulation abilities, but is to test the effect on standing and walking abilities. So you can, let's say, propose to you to test an upper limb exoskeleton, but you want to test how this will affect walking or moving in a typical industrial scenario, for example. Okay, not how this is helping me to do the manipulation, because this project is not focusing strictly on manipulation. Okay. So you can also, of course, include exosuit and also even stationary gait trainers. This, I'd say, it depends, because stationary gait training you can only test, let's say, very stationary conditions, but still could be useful to test human-robot interaction, to test human experience, and so on. In lower limb prostheses, also here could be powered or unpowered, includes transfemoral, transtibial, or full leg prostheses, bilateral or unilateral. For bipedal leg robots, humanoids, bipedal, or even monopolar robots. Okay? As I said, there is a limited amount of budget for non-bipedal technology, like multi-leg robots, quadruped exopod, or upper limb exoskeleton, like for industrial exosuit. Okay. The following technologies are excluded. So, for example, stationary upper limb exoskeleton, so Armeo, because this, let's say, will not affect any kind of lower limb activities. Industrial manipulators, these are excluded, and also robots that are in simulation and not real robots, let's say, physical robots. Okay, this is part of the eligibility of applicants. You can participate alone or as part of a consortium. Consortia can include partners from the same country or partners from different countries. There is the need for you to have a peak number. So please, if you don't have, try to have it before the all opens. Of course, you cannot have double funding for the same activities. You have this budget limitation of 100 kilo euro in total. So if you already been funded in FSTP-1 for, let's say, you obtain already 100 kilo euro, you can still participate, but you cannot be beneficiary of the grant. So this is a very important part. We suggest you to be part of the consortium in which at least one other member is funded. Okay, so let's say we really can sign the grant agreement because there is funding involved, but you will be as non-beneficiary of the grant. But you can still be in the project, you can still participate in. We do this, for example, because there are people that participate in FSTP-1 that developed all the test bed and they really want to go to the facility to test. And we open the door for this, okay? But of course, we can fund more than 100 kilos. Even countries, so there is a list as in any European project of countries eligible for funding, which is in this document. We will provide also a link if you need. But even in this case, also non-eligible country can be part of a consortium, okay? But cannot be beneficiary. For example, US, no? US laboratory can participate here, but they cannot receive funding. So it's very similar to the previous part in which you have already been funded with the maximum. Okay. This is how much money we have to distribute. So it's nearly 2 million euro. So the estimate is to have more than 30 projects funded, depending on which option will be chosen. Even much more if you go for option 2 or 3. So let's say there will be a lot of movement in the facility and in the use of the software. I said before that there is a first come first served basis, but so there will be no direct comparison between the system. But as far as we fund the sub-project, we may then establish that we have a sufficient number of projects, for example, on the same scenario. We have, let's say, 3-4 projects on stairs. So we can, let's say, close funding on stairs. Okay. Or we have 80% we reach 60% of all the proposals on humanoids. So we may stop for humanoids and let wearable robot enter to have a balance. Okay. This doesn't mean that that project that will be, let's say, discarded for the reason will not be funded. It's just that we wait until the end of the call, and if at the end of the call we still have room for budget, these other projects can then enter into and get funded. Okay. So each proposal can have a maximum contribution of 60 kilo euro. This is already said. You can ask for 100% of the total budget. The funding is done on lump sum. This is not written here, but I'll say to you, this means that there will be no need for reporting of the costs. But of course, let's say it's something that you should have a track of this cost, because in the case you do not come to the facility, let's say, we may ask for reimbursement. But say in this case, it's very remote situation, I would say. But say that you don't have to prove how you spend the money. You receive the money, you can spend how you need it. This is a simulation of how you can spend this money. You can have, let's say, 6-person month on developing, running the experiment, let's say, or preparing experiments in your own lab. You should allocate some cost on travel accommodation for, let's say, for example, 3 persons during 2 weeks at the facility. And then you can also sign up to 15% of consumables for, say, do whatever you need to do. No? Let me read this. Okay, this I already said. No. Yes. There is even a situation in which you want to participate, but you have already reached the maximum in the first call, and you don't find anyone in the consortium. So also in that case, you can participate, but only after all the call closed. You can see whether there is room, space, logistics, and time for you to come to the facility and do the tests. Okay, so let's say we want to really open the door to anyone that want to test our tools. Okay, so this is all. We are waiting for you to come to Spain and to Italy and to do the best experimental test for benchmarking you can imagine. And of course, now it's time for questions. So Speranza, I don't know how you normally do if you look at questions written in the.
Yes, I answered the questions, but there is one that say, can I give you an email to you directly rather than everyone? I suppose that you is directly to you, Diego.
Sure, I can put here in the chat my email.
And the rest of the questions were about when we will share the video. I think this afternoon it will be available for everyone. And the date of the open call, because someone lost a part of the workshop, and it's September the 1st. And that's it. If someone else has a question, it's now the time.
I think it's important for you to pre-register before 31 of May, yeah? So you have 5 days more, so hurry up. It's fast, 10 to 15 minutes.
Are the costs shown in the last example a maximum or just a suggestion?
No, just a suggestion. We still have to define a maximum, actually. We still have to define this maximum budget, say for category, if there is. I would say that I would put only a restriction on the consumables. Okay, we don't want you to spend half of the money for developing, let's say, a robot. No, your robot should be already developed. Okay, and then we still have to exactly define the evaluation criteria. Okay, so this is still under discussion internally.
New amazing robotic solutions are entering.
Yes, Javier Roa wants to ask something.
Yes, hi Diego.
Hi.
Thank you for your explanation and more details about this call. Well, have you said that it is possible to make a consortium from several countries? My question is, all those countries should be from European Union, or is it possible to propose a consortium from other outside European Union countries?
Yes, you can also involve other countries. There is a big list of eligible countries. Maybe Speranza, can you look rapidly? Maybe we also have it here. Is this no?
Tell me.
Yes, here it is. Okay, so let me share here in the chat. So here in the chat is the list of eligible countries for funding. Okay, you can see here that there are a lot of countries outside Europe. This is actually for any European project. So you may be this not new to you. So all these can receive funding. But even in this case, as I said, if one of these countries, for example, US or Brazil or China wants to participate, they can, but they cannot receive money. But they can be part of the consortium.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mateo asked if you can update the answers to the registration after submitting it. The answer is yes, but only till the deadline.
Yes, but I say There is no need to, as I said, if you change slightly your idea, there is no big problem. So we maintain the association with that pre-registration if you let's say slightly change your idea. So we are flexible. Let's say this is the pre part. No, we are not so strict here. No, we're just trying to encourage people to apply. So yeah. We will be more strict, let's say, after we see the full proposal, of course. No doubt.
I also share the link of YouTube because the video will be available there. Okay, if you don't have any questions, I think we can finish. Thank you everyone for attending this website, and we will send you an email with the presentation. I mean, with the link of the presentation, and I hope this will be this afternoon. If not, tomorrow morning for sure. Okay. In such a way, you will have time to do the registration till this Sunday. Thank you, Diego.
Thank you, everybody, Esperanza, for organizing this, and all the attendees. I hope to see you then in Madrid or in Genoa.
Hopefully. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.